fans, have I got a treat for you tonight? Sitting to my, well, maybe it's this way or that way, is David Feldman, CEO and founder of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, who joins me all the way from Cancun, where I know he's making those New York people jealous because of the weather. So, Dave, let's get right to it, because the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 4 is just a few weeks away, and the card is stacked with all kinds of amazing fighters. And I wanted to know if you could break it down for us, because if you had to ask me to pick one or two fights, well, you know what? They're all outstanding.
Well, you know, I really, truly can't just let one stand out. But I'm going to probably pop out two of them that are going to stand out, probably more than any of the others, if I'm right. Hopefully I'm right. But if I'm not right, it doesn't matter, because one of the other fights will be fighted tonight. But I think one fight that didn't air on Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 2 was Diego Garajo versus Tom Shoaf. Both fighters dropped each other, and then Diego got up and knocked Tom Shoaf out. We have the rematch of Tony Lopez versus Joey Beltran, the one that really put us on the map on the first fight card. A lot of people call it the bloodbath. We have Beck Rawlings fighting Cecilia Ulo Flores. And, you know, all these Mexican fighters tell me that they're coming to fight and they're coming to represent their country, and they're not letting the Americans come away with the victory. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We have Joe Riggs battling Rudo Tovar. We have Chris Lytle fighting J.C. Lamas.
All right, what can fans expect to see when they tune in? And what fights, if you had to choose one or two that are the, good Lord, you're going to the bathroom now or you're getting a beer now fight, what are the ones that they should not leave their seat for?
I mean, the one I already mentioned, but Diego Garajo versus Tom Shoaf. And, you know, I really think Beck's fight, I think anything can happen with both of them. So I would definitely stay glued to the TV for Beck's fight, and actually all the fights. So if you're at a bar, make sure you have a waitress service. if you're at your home, make sure your significant other is bringing you the drinks, because you don't want to miss the fight card.
That's a good idea. I'll have to remind all the people to just, well, I never leave the TV set anyway, so or the screen or the phone or the computer. Were you surprised at the level of talent in Mexico? I mean, they are a boxing sort of country, but were you just surprised at the level of talent that you were able to find there?
At first I was surprised, but now, I mean, you know, we have our pick of the litter now, and we're going to do some other things. We're going to go to Cancun, and then we're going to come back to the United States for 2 or 3 shows, and we're probably going to end up in Mexico City or Monterrey.
Wow. You know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit, because I feel like bare knuckle fighting has gotten sort of a bad rap, and I don't actually think I've ever shared this with anybody, so you might be the first person. Many years ago, when I was first starting reporting in MMA fighting and boxing, I was up at the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame with a very famous physician, a boxing physician, by the name of Dr. Alan Fields. For those of you who don't know, he's like legendary in the sport. And we had a discussion about whether or not MMA was safe, not even bare knuckle. And what he mentioned to me, which I thought was so interesting, is that he wasn't quite sure, this is several years ago, he wasn't quite sure if even MMA was safe, because the ground and pound on the head, when you're down on the ground, the head has nowhere to go. But at least in boxing, your head moves back. Talk to our viewers a little bit about some of the other reasons why bare knuckle fighting is safe, and it's not a bad sport, and it's really a big misconception as to what people think, because there's a lot of kind of funky things going on about that.
Absolutely. First, I'm going to say what a small world this is, Susan. Dr. Alan Fields introduced my mother and father.
Oh my God!
And I did not know. So let's get into that. Yeah, so it's a big misconception of the safety of bare knuckle, because in people's perception, they're going to think, oh, it's a street fight, and people are going to get killed, people are going to get hurt. Right. But here's the thing is, after 70 fighters fought in our first 3 fights, in our first 3 fight cards, 1 broken hand, 1 broken thumb, 1 broken nose, with less than any boxing or MMA card out there.
So, Dave, you've come so far in, well, it hasn't been a short time, but I got to ask you, where do you see yourself in 3 years from now?
You know, I really, truly think in 3 years, you know, a lot of people say, what's 2019 have in store for you? And I pencil that out. I think in 3 years that we're going to be a major, major competitor.
Well, I hope so, because I'm hooked. Hook, line, and sinker. You know, I was not exposed to it before, and now that I see it, I just find it so exciting. So I applaud you for bringing it to the forefront, and I do hope that it goes like bonkers crazy. Quick question. How did you find all the talents? I read in some of the postings online that there were tryouts, and if so, will you be doing more tryouts? Because people are going to want to sign up.
Yeah, well, we actually did a tryout back in the summer of 2017, getting lost in all these years. But in 2017, with a tremendous turnout, And what we did there is more just to see how they could throw their punches, but really to talk to them and to see if they had the personality to do this. And we picked a couple guys out: Sam Shoemaker, Arnold Adams. They were at the tryout. Travis Thompson, Reggie Barnett. A couple of our stars now, they were at the tryouts. And yes, February 1st in Cancun, Mexico, at the Beto Avila Stadium, we will be doing our Mexican tryout.
Well, you better come to Florida, and if you do, you better definitely look me up. I'm waiting for you guys to come down here, but
we're 100% coming to Florida. We're actually going to come to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, awesome. You know, Dave, I wanted to talk to you about an issue that I see that has sadly happened with other promoters. The most recent one that's made news is that WBKFF. And they really, I hope it's not, people won't be mad if I say the word, but it's the only way to use it. They really screwed the fighters. They screwed everybody. How have you been able to overcome that sort of drama? Because it probably is reflecting on you. People get confused and it's all kinds of stuff. And how are you hoping to make fans aware that you are not, which we know already, that kind of a person?
Well, you know what, Susan? I don't even have to defend myself, and I'll tell you why. The fighters that fight for me, they come in my defense. Anytime they see a remark, they pop up and say, wrong organization, this guy is great, he pays us, treats us with respect. Look, I've been in there before. I know what they go through training, and when they fight, and I know what they go through, and they're laying their life on the line. And for someone to lay their life on the line with bare knuckles, especially where you're very probable to end up with a scar for the rest of your life, and to not pay these guys is criminal. I knew it was going to happen.
I did too.
I couldn't go out and say, oh, they're not going to pay you. They're not going to pay you, because I was going to look like a hater.
Yeah.
But now what I did is I'm welcoming a lot of the guys that fought in that organization. You will see a bunch of signings from those guys coming in the next couple of weeks, working out some great deals with those guys. And look, I want to pay the guys. I want to pay the guys what they deserve. They were promising monopoly money.
I know.
Promising 10 times what they should have got, and that's why they went over there. And I don't blame them. But now they're going to come back to reality. They're going to understand that we do pay the fighters very well, and we're giving them a platform to now become something in a brand new combat sport where they can make a name for themselves.
Dave, outstanding interview. Before we go today, is there anything else you want to share with us?
I just want to say really thank you for being a big supporter of us since the beginning. And we're going to be breaking a lot of news, and we're going to be breaking it with you. But we have some really big stuff coming up. I know a lot of promoters say, oh, big announcement coming. But I'm telling you, we have some huge stuff that's going to blow everybody's mind that's coming up probably within the next 3 or 4 months. I think we're really going to shake up the combat sports world more than we already did.
Well, you know I'm here waiting for that information, and I thank you for it. I'm open ears for all that kind of stuff. Most importantly, talk to us and tell us where we can watch the show, and also where can fighters and fans, if they are in the Cancun area or maybe tourists, pick up a ticket for the event.
You can watch it on every major cable or satellite provider in the United States and Canada. Also, if you're not in the United States or if you want to use your mobile device, you can go to Fight TV, which streams on PlayStation, Xbox, Roku, all the big online platforms right there. And if you're in the Cancun area, it's at the Beto Avila Stadium. It's the home of the Cancun Tigers, where Fernando Valenzuela, former LA Dodger pitcher, owns the stadium. And you can get your tickets at bareknuckle.tv or Tubolis, which I don't know how to spell it, and I'm sorry, .net. But you can, if you go to our website, bareknuckle.tv, and click on Get Tickets, it takes you everything right there, gives you all the information. It's going to be one hell of a night. Tickets are selling like crazy, better than any show we've ever done so far.
Thank you so much, Dave, for taking the time to speak with us tonight. All right, MMA fans. You think that this is the end of the story with Dave? Well, it's not, because you know what? In part 2 of my interview, we're going to get to know Dave as a person. Because why? Every promoter has a story. Thanks for watching.